Hello guys, my name is Katie and welcome to this video. I'll be talking about the books that I read in February. I participated in the waywardathon. It was based on the first season of Supernatural. That's what the readathon is about. It's based on Supernatural, that show. And honestly, I was really excited to have found a readathon based on Supernatural because, I mean, it just ended for good. I haven't watched the ending yet. I've been avoiding the spoilers. I know about a couple crazy things that happen, but nothing huge. I started rewatching it for the second time, my second time rewatching, like a few months ago in college, and I'm at season 10 right now. I'm trying to get through it. It's a little hard at this point in the show. Hopefully I'll get through it though before I forget everything that I need to know for the finale. So yeah. And I know the finale is disappointing. I've heard that, but I don't know. I guess I'll see when I get to it. But yeah, so I'm going to be talking about 4 books that I read in February. So I guess let's do that. So the first book that I actually finished in February, I started in January, so I don't completely count it as a February book, but that book is Goodnight, Punpun Omnibus, Volume 1. Basically, I was recommended this book by a friend. She really loves it, so I was like, cool. And I have been reading more mangas recently, and like graphic novels and things like that. So I was like, why not? I'll give it a try. It seems interesting. They apparently card you when you buy it. You have to be like 18 to buy it, so I mean that makes it even more interesting. It's basically about this kid named Punpun. He is a kid. It's narrated by Punpun as a kid. He's probably like 10 or something. Even though it is narrated by a child, it contains like a lot of adult themes, and I've been told that like the later books in the series are more so very much for adults, like a lot of dark stuff. Basically the focus of the book is Punpun and his crush on this one girl. There's a lot of time with like that girl and like his friends, who are also children, of course. I really like the writing. I kind of look for more like metaphors and like flowery language in what I read, and I was satisfied on that front with Goodnight, Punpun. So the interesting thing about it for me was that I really liked reading from a kid's point of view about the adult topics. Like I felt like, yes, it's narrated by a child, but it's still like mature enough to be enjoyable. It's not all written out for you already because you're figuring it out through his perspective. So I thought that was really interesting, and I do plan on continuing the series. So now we'll get into the 3 books that I actually read for the waywardathon. Punpun I just read because I started it in January, so I finished it, but I didn't count it for the waywardathon. Let me show you my reading journal spread that I made for the waywardathon. It's decent. I like it. Here it is. That is that. So we have the bingo board. It was lined out in a bingo board style, and you could double up on the prompts as much as you want. So how I did it was I would read the book and write it here, and then highlight it and highlight the corresponding boxes that it fulfills on the bingo board. So I ended up getting 2 bingos this way. So that's pretty cool. The first book I finished for that was I'm Thinking of Anythings by Reid. And I know I talked about this in my last video because I did a book haul, and I was talking about how I was expecting to love it, and I did. I do love that book a lot. Not a 5-star like I was hoping. I don't think it was. Yeah, not a 5-star like I was hoping. 4 stars, pretty good. I still thoroughly enjoyed it. Not too much I can explain about this book. It's pretty much like it's winter, and a guy and his girlfriend go on a road trip to visit his parents, and some weird stuff happens when they take a detour. That's all I can say. The book is very is very dialogue forward, which I didn't think that I would actually, like, I didn't know that I would enjoy that so much, but I did. I really liked it. The dialogue between the characters was very, you know, it got like philosophical at times. It was interesting. It wasn't, you know, just boring small talk. If you're the kind of person who prefers like a very plot heavy book, it's probably not for you. I mean, but if you want to give it a try, go ahead. It's a thriller, if I didn't mention that. It's a psychological thriller. But yeah, it gets pretty scary. Honestly, when I was reading it, I did have to put it down a few times, just because it was getting a little scary for me. So I did have to put it down a few times and just like scroll through social media for a few minutes to reconnect with reality. But that's great. I love that in a book. I think it's great that it did that for me. The one thing about it is that finishing it, I was a little bit confused with how the story like panned out. I don't know if that's just me, like maybe I'm just not very good at like figuring that kind of stuff out, but it was like I eventually figured it out. Had to, you know, flip back a little bit, but wow, it was crazy. It did surprise me. If you want a book to surprise you, I would recommend it. Also, I actually want to mention before I move on, I tried to watch the movie for I'm Thinking of Ending Things because I actually read the book so soon because I wanted to get to the movie. It does not work in movie format. It doesn't. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was skipping through it. I didn't finish it. Don't recommend. If you're gonna watch the movie, read the book instead. That's my recommendation. I feel like if you're gonna watch the movie first, it would just ruin the experience of the book. So I would highly recommend doing the book first, or just reading the book and not watching the movie, because I don't think it's worth it. The next book I finished for February for the readathon was The Raven Boiys by Maggie Steifvater, however you pronounce that. And I read this for a little book club that I have with my friends. Honestly, I was surprised at how much I liked it. I did expect to enjoy it. It's been on my TBR for a little while after hearing, you know, different booktubers talking about it. But I didn't expect to love it as much as I actually did. The atmosphere, I think, is like perfect. Like, it was, I don't know, every time I think about it, I think of like a bluey turquoisey-ish color, like a dark bluish, little bit green color. Like, that's just the vibe that it gives me. And I love the characters. The characters are wonderful. Gansey? Oh my god, Gansey? I love him. He's the best. He's probably actually one of my favorite book characters ever. And I don't know if that's because I'm in love with him or because I relate to him. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. Like, it doesn't really have that much of a plot, but like, I don't really care. It's not a problem for me. I give it 4 stars. The only thing holding me back from 5 was just like a gut feeling, and I don't know. I trust my gut feeling with book ratings. I didn't even explain what it's about. It is about a girl named Blue, and basically her whole life she has known that her true love is going to die. So basically for Blue's life, she's never, you know, been interested in romance of any kind. She stayed away from boys, especially the Raven Boys, who are boys who go to a local private school, and she's always made it a point to stay away from them, except, well, until when a group of them walk into the place where she works. I'm not entirely sure, like, I don't know, it's like they're on a search for like a lost king or something. I don't know. That's all I can say about it. But basically she gets wrapped up in that, and things get complicated with like her prophecy and things. So it's very interesting. It's not too fantasy-y. There are fantasy elements, of course, but as a person who doesn't enjoy like super fantasy books, I really loved it, as I'm saying for like the 8th time now. So if you're kind of skeptical about the fantasy part, don't be. It's not anything to worry about at all. It's just a little sprinkle of fantasticalness. And the last book I finished for the Waywardathon is The Battle of the Labyrinth by Riordan, the 4th book in the Percy Jackson series, and this was a reread for me. A few years ago, I reread the first 3 books. I read the whole series in like middle school. That was the first time I read it, I think. I had never reread Battle of the Labyrinth, so I was like, why not? Let me do it. And also it checked off some bingo board spaces. I listened to the audiobook, which I do sometimes have trouble focusing on audiobooks. It depends on the story, I think. Usually I'll do it while I'm like playing Animal Crossing or something. So I wasn't entirely engaged while I was listening the whole time. But honestly, with a Riordan book, I don't think it even matters because the nostalgia it brings is unreal. The Percy Jackson books are heartwarming and they're scary at some points. Scary as in like I'm scared for the characters. They're not like horror novels. Yeah, I don't know, just something about them. Just the energy, the humor, the, you know, the childish humor is really fun to read, you know, as an adult now. It's just kind of a lighthearted break from more intense books like I'm Thinking of Ending Things. First of all, if you haven't read the Percy Jackson books, I highly, highly, highly recommend, no matter what age you are. My favorite parts of those books are always just the humor and how fun they are. Even when they seem serious, they're really not. Well, anyway, those were the 4 books that I read in February. 3 books for the Waywardathon. Definitely looking forward to the next round of the Waywardathon. Honestly, it would be great if there would literally be 15 rounds. If for every season, I'll do this for 15 years. It's okay. That's fine by me. I'll do it. I'll follow along for 15 years, whatever. Before I end the video, I just want to say if you're looking for a readathon to participate in May, you might want to check out my Minecraft readathon that I host and put together with my friend Sarah. All the links will be in the description. And we have a Discord server now for that, so that's pretty fun. Watch out in April for my announcement video about that. I can't believe it's like in a month I'll be uploading that. So stay tuned if you want to participate. Check the description for anything else. My socials, links to things you can donate to and petitions to sign and stuff like that. Thank you for watching.